Thank you for tuning in to the Transitional Changes Mission podcast show with your host, King Summers.
And your host, Queen Summers.
Yes, my people. I'm glad y'all are having the patience. We are back. We just took a little break there for that voting. That's what this topic is about here, this episode. It's going to fall under the No Justice, No Peace series.
That's right. We took a little break to get into the excitement and the momentum. And I know we all felt emotions of anxiousness as we awaited the results from voting.
And yes, my people, that's what Transitional Changes is about. Here we are family friendly. We talk about current events, maybe something going on in your hometown or worldwide events that's going on today or in a couple of weeks ago, a couple of days ago. We try to stay current events. And one main current event just occurred, which made history, was voting.
That's right. There was a historically high turnout during the voting process. We all had to pretty much cast our votes, and hopefully everybody was on the Democratic side that was on the Democratic side got the result that they wanted, and everybody who was not, I hope they come to terms within this change.
Yes, that's another thing Transitional Changes mission is. We speak and we came up with this podcast that talk about change, talk about embracing change. And here we go again. We want to talk about this embracing change of a new president. Now, you see Trump flags going around. You might see Vice President Joe Biden flags and bumper stickers, but there's no need for what our second topic is talking about, and that is violence. I mean, there's been a couple of rumors going on, civil war finna start, we are unrest. There's a lot of maybe fear or uncertainty, and plus at the same time, we had an episode about that, COVID-19 still lingering. Here we go again. We got two main topics to talk about on this episode that will fall under No Justice, No Peace series. We are ready to dive in, but at the same time, before we get into that, the topics that we finna talk about, let's give thanks to our audience, to everybody that's sharing the podcast, helping us grow.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. We have received many correspondences. And on our next show, we'll be coming back with the reviews. So for right now, we'd like to say congratulations to Joseph Biden and Kamala Harris for their win.
And yes, my people, we just hope that we make a change and helping some people maybe think about doing things before they actually do an act. Hopefully it's an act of goodness and be a servant to each other and be humble. I mean, you know, we got to keep this humanity keep going in this momentum. President Joe Biden is trying to pump out. We need unity, and I'm glad that he's speaking about that because that's what our podcast is about. We are the bridge to communication, and that means we got to close that gap to the unperceived things of miscommunication or anything that need to be heard out. Just like they said, your vote is your voice. We say your message is your voice to us, and we will be your voice to everybody in this world. We have an open line to anybody in the whole world. We are a worldwide broadcast show that's hosted on Podbeam and other podcast outlets, and we also on YouTube, Amazon, Facebook, everywhere, man. And we appreciate all the messages, and we still got that message blinking right now. We still got the open lines open at tcmissionspeaks@gmail.com. And then we got that awesome website that will have reviews on there. We have all kind of outlets of helplines. We got Queen Summers writing a beautiful blog about the previous episodes or in the upcoming episode. So make sure you tune in and click on your website on your mobile phone or whatever you use for the internet and type in
www.transitionalchangesmission.wordpress.com.
Yes, my people. And let's go ahead and dive into that topic there. But we're going to take this quick break to get y'all settled in, get everything organized. Go ahead and call your friends and say, man, that Transitional Changes podcast is on, that crazy show that's friendly, funny, and exciting. Yes, y'all. We are here and we are back to get it rolling and get this mission pushing, just like the movement. Thank you.
These my dollars make it hurt.
Yes, my people, welcome back to your Transition to Changes podcast show with your host, King Summers.
And your host, Queen Summers.
Yes, let's give a minute to everything and let us drop some knowledge down to you, or you can drop some knowledge down to us at tcmissionspeaks@gmail.com.
So I want to talk about 48 senators introduced legislation, and it was to restore Voting Rights Act after it was gutted by the Supreme Court in 2013. The lawmakers named the new bill after civil rights icon John Lewis. John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. It was sponsored by 47 Democrats and Republican Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. It would require that any state with a history of voting discrimination within the past 25 years seek federal approval before making any changes to its voting procedures. And it would mandate that any state, regardless of its history, obtain clearance from the Justice Department or a federal court in Washington, D.C. before making any changes that would tend to burden voters of color, such as strict voter ID laws or closing polling places in areas with large numbers of minority voters. Mr. Lewis nearly died in March of 1965 when he was brutally beaten by Alabama state troopers during a voting rights march in Selma, Alabama, an event that helped lead to the passage of the original Voting Rights Act later that year. He devoted his life to expanding access to the ballot, calling the vote the most powerful, nonviolent tool we have in a democratic society.
Wow. There goes some knowledge there, some history there, man. That's why they say get out and vote. One thing I'm going to drop on you, man. A lot of people, like I said in our previous show, changes was that a lot of African American people thought, or maybe, man, misunderstood, and I know a lot of people have this knowledge, that it always been the North and the South, or states that was establishing themselves without slavery. And some of those states allowed African Americans to vote. Like in 1870, February 26th, black man in the United States Constitution 15th Amendment was voting.
Mm-hmm.
With all kind of barriers that was blocking a lot of them, but they still had votes. Just like when they started advancing, more of the reasons why the slavery was trying to reach the North was to get that same freedom that was already established. Therefore, that led on to the African American black woman to start voting in August 18, 1920. Now, that battle came among all women, not just a certain culture. Before African American people got to vote and women got to vote in 1820, there also was no woman able to vote. So this battle about the 15 minutes about voting has been a struggle. And I truly understand the reasons why people saying voting is your voice. And they had all kind of discrepancies about who can do what and set up different type of barriers that stopped a lot of people from voting. We're here to talk about that. And in my opinion, I think voting has been taken out of content. I mean, I give all respect to the history of voting, but myself is an independent individual. I don't hold myself to no party, never has been, and quite frankly, I just been what you would say, a rebel against the voting, because to me, I stand with the people, a large variety of people. And I got to give hooray to President Donald Trump and new President Joe Biden in this election. They pulled out more voting people than ever. I even turned on the news one time and seen that it was a blind African American queen.
Mm-hmm. She was 100 and how old?
1 year old. Never voted in her life. And they asked her why she never voted, and that was her first time voting. She was stating that mainly behind fear. I myself, I don't have fear behind the reason why I didn't participate in voting. My thing was, it seems that it was a systematic system, meaning that it was things that was set up to me to say that it was 8 years Democrat, 8 years Republican. No matter what the popular vote was, especially on that Hillary Clinton president running, that it looked like it was a systematic and people disagreed, just like in this voting outcome here. It's disagreements on this, and it still ain't really set in the stone. But they got it on the media saying that the numbers are showing that Joe Biden has won. And it does look like that. But it's still why we came up with this second topic, violence. We don't need no violence coming off an amendment that was for everybody. We all had different opinions and different disagreements about your opinion, but sometimes that don't need to lean into violence. And we'll talk about that on later on in the show, my beliefs on violence. But I'm just stating or explaining what my beliefs is, and I hope nobody prejudge me on my reasons. I mean, I am a part of this beautiful country. I do not take nothing away from nobody, and I support all. That's what Transition to Changes mission is about. That's one reason why we came up with this show. Anybody that has any need of counseling due to the outcome of this vote, we got an 800 number on our website. If you have any fears or feel like you ain't got nobody in your corner about your decisions, who you voted for, give us a call. Write us a message at tcmissionspeaks@gmail.com.
Me personally, I feel like my preferences, my voting preferences are mine. My who I voted for is mine, and it is a privilege. And when you have something that is a privilege that you hold near and dear to you, and you understand the suffrage of your people, then just understanding that it is a privilege of something that you couldn't do, your ancestors couldn't do. And if you have the right to do that, why not take a chance?
Oh, is
And
this a debate against King Summers and
not
Queen Summers?
not at all, not at all. It's just basically my personal preference. I'm not a rebel. I am an American. I am a proud American, African American woman,
Queen.
African American queen. Yes, that's right, King. And also, I have ambitions to train my daughters, to groom my daughters into being the best independent queens that they can be as well.
And yes, yes, my people. Now, King Summers gonna clear some things up. Maybe, hopefully, Queen Summers didn't mix it up with yourself. Now, I said that I'm an independent individual, but just saying that I'm not a rebel or nothing like that. I am a supportive, love this country for what all the battles that we have been through within our endeavors of trying to get things to a point to where it's equal among all men and women. And that's with all cultures. But with myself, I just feel like wants to say I'm going to explain my opinion about the voting and what I believe in, what I feel like. Hopefully, I can make a movement on this. I am a servant to the people. That's what Transition to Changes mission is to the people. We are nothing without you. And with that said, I look at it when you come into the nonprofit world, when you become a official or the servant of the people, like police,